now.
Kirshni, just a quick update for you. Heather Nauert has just concluded on the subject of South Africa. A number of questions from a number of journalists, including the Associated Press's Matthew Lee. And he asked some very pointed questions about why the State Department was looking at this now. Heather Nauert responding that they were concerned that land expropriation without compensation risked sending South Africa down the wrong path. This is something she repeated a number of times. She expressed a hope from the State Department that they would handle this process in an open and transparent manner. Of course, it is already being handled in an open, transparent manner, so that made no sense. She said that the President and the Secretary of State had met in the last 24 hours on this subject. She was pushed back she was pushed back in terms of when they met. The Secretary of State has had a number of bilaterals, including with the Kenyan Foreign Minister at the State Department today. So there was a bit of curiosity as to when they might have sat down and discussed the substance of President Donald Trump's tweet. And of course, a number of journalists raised questions about the internal State Department report on human rights that they bring out annually. And one of the reporters said that he went back to that report to look at the listing of South Africa. And he said that the internal documentation of the State Department made no reference to the question of land expropriation without compensation, so raising the question as to when this might have become a concern. Because as this reporter pointed out, black people in South Africa suffered greater discrimination than white people. And of course, you'll remember that the president in that tweet made specific reference to the killing of white farmers in South Africa. So not a lot of substance out of the State Department. One journalist also, Kirshni, asked Heather Nauert why she couldn't just pick up the phone and call the United States ambassador to South Africa. Basically a little sarcasm in that because, of course, the United States has not appointed a permanent representative to South Africa, and so this is being handled at the charge d'affaires level between the United States and the Department of International Relations.
Sherwin, do you think that the South African government and the South African quarter is going to be satisfied with a response, like you're saying, that just lacks substance at this point, and rather evasive one at that?
I would be speculating. I would imagine not. But Kirshni, I am going to advise you to ask the Department of International Relations on that one. I'm sure they'll have a better answer than I do.
That was our correspondent Sherwin Bryce Peace joining us from the United States, where the State Department has just wrapped up its media briefing on U.S. President Donald Trump's earlier tweets on South Africa's land expropriation policy.